welcome to the NTR Network. I'm the Doctor here with Hiroja, and we are back a year later because Season 3 of 12 Monkeys has dropped. And unlike last year where we got an episode a week, Syfy decided a new format whereby they dropped the entire series in the span of one weekend. They had already announced that Season 4 was going to be their last season, but now... they had announced last year that they were going to end at 4 seasons, but then on top of that, Syfy went ahead and canceled it after Season 4.
No, they have Season 5.
Are you sure? Because the last I read, Syfy was canceling it.
I double-checked because I wanted to know why they would dump it all in one weekend, and they have a Season 4 and a Season 5. What they did was they filmed the recent season... I'm sorry?
I didn't say anything.
The recent season that we had, the Season 3 and 4 were filmed back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be a Season 5.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why because the weird way they dumped this, and I guess we can talk about it at the end of our review. Mm-hmm. If you don't want any spoilers, there are some images for Season 4 if you haven't finished Season 3 yet. Just so you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what we had decided to do since they dropped it like this is to review the premiere. That's what we're doing with this episode. And then review the rest of the season in 3 episode chunks. So you'll get 4 total 12 Monkeys podcasts for this Season 3. So what were your thoughts on the season premiere?
I liked it. It was straightforward, very clear, very, they trimmed all the fat, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Cole was still being Cole, but it seemed like they had more of a purpose. It was very focused, this premiere. I did like it. There's certain elements that they stuck with that I guess we'll get into that I didn't wish they carried over, and that's a different, I guess, a story direction we both wanted differently. Mm-hmm. But overall, I really enjoyed the episode, and I thought it was really good.
So I did not make it unknown last season that I didn't like them going the whole star-crossed lover romance with Cole and Cassie. Mm-hmm. And having had some time to reflect on it, when the season premiered and Cole was running around like a lost puppy dog looking for his lost love, it just solidified for me more that I'm like, I'm not here for this. Who's the witness? We know what he's trying to do. How are you going to stop him? You can have a human story without having a romantic element. And I just feel like it felt shoehorned in. So I've only watched the first 2 as of this recording. By the time we're done, obviously I will have watched them all. But the first episode, it kind of irritated me because I'm like, we spent most of the first episode watching Cole track down this chick. And I'm like, can you get to work? Because what's done is done. The baby is born. He's the witness, so you know she's alive to some degree. She's the witness's mama, so unless he's a sadist, she's going to survive some of this.
I don't think he knew that she was pregnant. That's what she was. Cassie was hinting to that. I forgot what her name was, but the young handmaiden that was taking care of her.
Ariana.
That he did. Yeah, Ariana. She didn't know. He didn't know that she was pregnant. Mm. And so he doesn't know she's pregnant, and I don't think he knows that she and he are responsible for the witness.
Okay.
Oh, only she knows.
Okay. Then.
And his future self did not inform him.
No, there are certain things he had to keep quiet from her. His future Cole had to keep certain things quiet from past Cole.
What did you think about that whole scene, that dynamic there?
It was I was disappointed in the premiere. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure the season got better because they tend to get themselves right, but I was just, it's why I haven't finished watching, because I was watching it like, ugh. You went through all that to keep him out instead of just revealing who you were when you encounter him in the forest to say, hey dog, this is not the time, you need to hold back.
Yes. And it reminded me how, we always talk about how Cole is being Cole. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like, yes, Cole would be the only one to get himself to stop being such a as you said, a lost puppy looking for Cassie. But at the same time, he's still being Cole. He's calling it up.
He really is. Cole stays doing Cole shit.
Yes. And as someone who has seen, like, all 10 episodes, I'm like, you could have saved so much time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's what the show is about time. Is like trying to, as Dr. Jones was giving the little recap for everybody to catch them back up and remind them of what has happened, try to save humanity. 7 billion people. One person's life is not worth 7 billion people.
There was that, and then there was the fact that when he was telling him, there was a line that, I was calling him fake Iron Man, but before I knew it was Future Cole. So he was saying, Jennifer's the key. You need to go grab her. She's the answer to the plague, Titan. And he starts to say something, and he skips over it. And he says the Jinn and the witness. And I'm like, why are you skipping over important shit?
Yeah, the name he said was Ethan was the name.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, he skipped over the name, though, when he was talking to Past Cole. I think he said the name to Cassie, but he skipped over the name when he was talking to Past Cole.
No, he said the name, but he skipped over, like, that it's important, but he wanted to skip over that name. And I also thought that the way he said Jen, I didn't know if he meant Jennifer or he meant a different character.
No, he said the Jen.
The Jen? Okay.
Yeah, almost like Jinn is how I wrote it in my notes. I don't know if that's what he meant.
That's how I wrote it.
Yeah. I thought he meant, like, a specific god or something.
Yeah, I didn't know if he meant a specific thought or a person, and I thought that was very weird the way he said it, because why wouldn't he just say Jennifer? Because that's always how he spoke of Jennifer.
Right.
Yeah, so I had those two names. One was Ethan, and the other was the Jinn, or Jinn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was weird. The other weird thing was just him not revealing everything right then and there to make things just so much simpler.
Yep, and I'm sorry about that background noise. I was waiting a special delivery, and I have to certify it. So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, and the only other thing that I really liked about the scene, having watched it the second time, was just how technology has gotten so much better from Parent Trap to where we're basically there. You can see how they placed it a little bit, and I bet they probably could have had Future Cole and Past Cole a little bit closer. But it seemed very seamless. It seemed like he was actually talking to himself right there and there. And this is television.
I know. It was nice. I think the lighting helps with that, too.
Yes.
But even beyond the lighting, because we've seen darkly lit scenes where it was very clear that they had masked someone into the scene. It looked great. The effects this episode were flawless. Extremely
flawless. Like, you couldn't tell. Like, there was a couple parts last season you could tell, but this season you really couldn't tell, and it seemed like, I don't know if they got a bigger budget or they just knew how to do things better this season.
Well, keep in mind too that Kirk Acevedo and the guy that plays Deacon, and they were, if we're honest with how many like scripted actors were in this episode, there weren't a lot. So maybe I always joke that I joked about this on the Supergirl finale that some of the stuff, or the penultimate, that some of the stuff looked different because they had to pay Linda Carter and Terry Hatcher and Callis. They had to move all their CGI money into paycheck money.
Paycheck money? Well, that makes sense because there were several key characters that we didn't know their fates were. We don't know what happened to Jennifer. We don't know. Well, we do eventually know what happened to Jennifer. She gets somehow trapped back in World War I, but we don't know what happened to Ramse, and we don't know what happened to Deacon. And we know what happens to Cassie, but yeah, and Cassie really wasn't in this episode that much. It was really very Cole-centric.
Yeah.
It was very I think they're in 2047 now?
Yeah.
Or is it 2048? It was one of those years.
Well, I mean, Cassie was in it because we saw her trying to escape and Aryan helping her escape, her getting stabbed up. And
it seemed like her scenes were very short. And they were very brief.
I was just like, it cracked me up because I'm like, oh, so they got product in the future because her hair isn't all glorious. What are we doing?
And it seemed like the Titan is supposed to be the place or whatever is very dreary and dull. It's like you couldn't spruce it up with some greenery and where are they getting all this food? I don't hear no cows.
Right. Are we on a vegan diet? What are we doing?
And what is the name? Do you have the name of the actress that came in that was playing like the boss lady?
Her character's name was Magdalena. Hold on.
Yes.
I can get the actress's name. Hold on.
I've seen this actress before, and she's very intimidating.
Oh, I loved her.
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to love her, but I loved her. Her name is Hannah Waddingham.
Yes.
She was in Les Miserables.
Maybe that's where I saw her in.
Oh, you know how you know her?
Why?
She's Septa Unella from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
the one that Cersei unleashes the mountain on.
Oh, okay.
That's how you know her face. Yep.
Yes. Okay. One of those two is where I've seen her, but definitely I would have seen her in Game of Thrones.
Well, I love that. I always remember her. He's been in so much, but I always remember him. Malik. I always remember him as the captain in the Star Trek reboot.
Yes.
That's how. I mean, he's been in so much, but I always remember him as the captain in the Star Trek reboot.
He's such a great character actor, and then when you put him in TV shows, you honestly don't know, is he going to be a good guy or a bad guy? Because there's some character actors, okay, that's the villain, because that's what they always play. Mm-hmm. But he's a guy that he's done both. He's done good guys and both of the guys and bad guys, and so I like the fact that he was there. He also has a strong presence, and he has just pathos to him, really, with everything he says. He almost says it with like some shade.
And honestly, because I am shallow, I love his voice. Oh my God. I could just sit and listen to him for hours and just
he does have a very creamy voice.
No, it's soothing and sexy. I love his voice. I'm a sucker for a sexy voice. I've always said this.
But what I liked about the Madeline character was just like as soon as she walked through the door, you're like, oh, she's in charge here, and she played the role of a zealot. Mm-hmm. And sometimes like TV people do it to where it's like a really super crazy, where they seem very unhinged. Mm-hmm. And while what she was saying was very unhinged, she wasn't like frothing at the mouth. This was like a pure commitment fanatic.
She was a true believer.
She was a true believer about the witness. Yes. And it was also a little dehumanizing of Cassie, where she was just basically a vessel. Like just a walking, talking, breathing apparatus for the baby. And that's it. Mm-hmm. So,
she was an incubator.
She was an incubator, yes. And the other thing I noted about it was that Cassie tried to make friends with the girl Ariana. And I was like, that's another thing I don't think we've really touched on, was that whenever Cassie makes friends, it never goes well.
And I'm like, oh, that poor baby. Girl, you would have been better off just betraying Cassie.
Yes, you would have lived. You would so have lived. Unfortunately, you didn't. And what do you think about, I wrote it down as the Madeline's ultimate cheat power, the reset of time.
Okay, so here's the thing. I am curious, and I'm sure it gets explained, so don't tell me.
Okay.
Why, after they reset, they destroy themselves?
I think Cole kind of explained it a little bit about, how the two things, same objects can't touch each other.
Right. Which that device is designed to keep from causing catastrophic problems.
Yeah, the paradox. I think that's why they did it, but at the same time, I'm watching it and thinking about it, like watching it the second time through, it makes no sense why you can't have two of them. Because you can have two of them doing twice the work. So I don't know why. I don't know what the real answer is. I honestly don't. And it's very scary.
Especially because they know and they're willing to do it, which, zealots and true believers are wont to do. But still.
Okay, let's talk about that. They are very stabby this episode.
Man, they stabbed the... Pardon me. Okay, I'm a cursor, so just know this. They stabbed the fuck out of Ariana.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, one would have did it. She's not that big. All five of y'all just stab. This is not ceviche. What are you doing?
Not only that, but Madeline stabbed because Cassie has these handmaiden entourage thing going on. And Cassie, she pulls her little hairpin out, which was a butterfly, by the way. Mm-hmm. I noticed that. And she stabbed and killed, I guess, one of them straight up, and the other one was dying. And then the woman was already dying and tells you where Cassie goes, and she stabs her.
Well, okay, so when Magdalene did that, I took that as a mercy. The girl is sitting there choking to death in her own blood. She's drowning in her own blood. Why would you let her sit there and just bleed out that painfully when you can end her quickly? That one didn't bug me as much.
Okay. After watching later on and seeing her kill Ariana, I think, if you fail, you die. It's if you fail the witness, you're unworthy, and they just straight up kill you. But maybe you're right. Maybe that instance, it was a mercy kill.
Yeah, I mean, it could be both, but I honestly just took it as this girl is sitting here drowning in her own blood. She tried. She gave me what I need. The least I could do for her is a quick, painless death.
Oh, she enjoyed that stabbiness. Just like...
Oh, well, yeah. I'm not saying she didn't get any pleasure out of doing it. I'm just saying.
No. Oh, but she's a force to reckon with, and I like that because it's been a while since we've had, I would say a villain that felt threatening.
Because Olivia could talk a good game, but Olivia just felt like a lot of talk, truthfully.
She does feel a lot of talk. The flower guy, the flower man, he feels like, again, also a lot of talk. And it seems like they would never, ever hurt Cole and Cassie. Well, they wouldn't do anything to them. But it seems like Madeline will.
Well, Magdalene, you saw at the... Oh, no, was it this episode? I don't want to jump. No, it's not this episode. It's the next episode, so I'm not going to talk about it. But, yeah.
Yeah, she seems like she's willing, and she doesn't hide that fact.
No, not at all.
Not at all. And the other thing I want to note just about the Cassie thing is the fact that she was going to kill herself. And that's what she had Ariana help her do, almost in a sense, besides just trying to escape. But no, it was the other guy, the guy you were talking about, the character actor was helping her.
Well, here's the thing. She was trying to escape, but then they jumped. So then I don't think the plan was to kill herself, but once she jumped and realized that I'm trapped.
Yes.
What other recourse do I have?
Yes. And I thought that was a really major leap for that character. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I need to see her be more despaired. What, did she try to escape several other times? Did they torture her? Did they break her? Because she seemed broken.
I think she seemed broken, but I think part of that was the realization that I'm the mother of evil. Essentially, I'm the mother of someone who's trying to unmake the world. Mm-hmm. All this stuff I've been doing has been for naught because at the end of the day, oh gosh, I almost got crass. I don't like Cassie's character now. But at the end of the day, I couldn't keep my legs closed, and now I have birthed the ultimate evil.
Yeah, you birthed the ultimate evil.
And there's no getting around it. I can jump around in time, but now I'm always going to sleep with Cole. I'm always going to get pregnant. But I love this baby growing inside of me, and if I just could get him away, I could save him. But since I can't give him away, I can save him from himself by both of us dying.
Yes. And now, apparently, I guess the witness knows that she chose death over him. Which, I guess what they've shown so far about the witness might explain his animosity towards Cole and Cassie.
Well, I get it towards Cassie. I don't get it towards Cole. Cole didn't choose it, but maybe it's something we see later on this season. Mm-hmm. But I get it towards Cassie, and I don't. It's like, dude, you've been raised by psychopaths. Your judgment can't be trusted. I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
No. And with the ultimate cheat button, I guess it explains how the 12 monkeys have thus far, besides the word of the witness map, have been able to get ahead of everybody.
I kind of don't like it.
I don't like it either. Even having seen the whole season, I feel like that was like a cop-out, if you will.
I feel like they shoehorned it in to try to write themselves out of a corner. I don't like it.
No.
And it was one of those things, we talked about this at the end of season 1, and you and I talked about it when we were covering season 2. If they don't handle time travel right, or if everything that's done can be undone, there are no stakes, at which point the show becomes dull, and they are running the risk of that.
They are running the risk of that because, you know, at this point in time when Cole is in 2163, where Titan is, as he's found Titan, there is no human beings. Mm-hmm. So if that is the end result, what are they doing? How are they undoing anything? What is the future really going to look like? Right. And can they even change anything? Or are they just they could be in a constant loop, because the 12 monkeys keep talking about cycles, and what cycles are loops. Yeah. They're seasons that happen over and over again. Mm-hmm. So that was another weird and interesting thing overall. The only other thing, last bit about Cassie, is I guess she gave birth, and I don't know if that was just me thinking it, but she gave birth to the witness in the red tea water.
Yeah, and remember she had that hallucination when she was when Olivia put her in that tub? Mm-hmm. And now you wonder, was she having visions of that birth?
I'm wondering the same thing, because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like it was actually might even seem like it was the same tub.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it was the same type of tub. I don't know. It was the same
okay.
type of tub. I don't know if it was the same exact tub, but it was the same type of tub.
Yeah, and I was like, that is super creepy in general, because we know that the red tea is supposed to give people insights to time, and then now you're soaking the witness in it, basically, and the mother at the same time. Ugh.
And honestly, when time first reset, when she jumped, I thought that was something that the witness had done from inside her. That's where my mind, initially that's where my mind went, until it was revealed that no, Magdalena had reversed time.
Oh, you know, that would have been a better story arc.
Oh, God, yes. That's why I was sitting here thinking, I was like, y'all, you had this opportunity and you missed it. You
where the
he was the one.
He reset it.
And you could have explained it like, well, because he's, you know, inside his mom, he's been jumping time so much. As he develops, I'm not a writer. Clearly, I'm not a writer. But you could have written it in such a way that his constant time traveling while he's developing in utero created something else, a different kind of being. I don't know.
A traveler that doesn't need a machine to splinter.
Yeah, because that's kind of what you've been setting him up to be anyway.
Yeah, that would make so much sense. And it could also make sense how maybe he is somewhat outside of time. Mm-hmm. Oh. Now I'm mad about the ultimate cheat. Because the ultimate cheat, the suits kind of look very like steampunk.
It looks like wannabe Iron Man, I'm telling you.
It kind of looks steampunk to me.
That is great value Iron Man.
Okay. Well, I'm the opinion that it looked kind of steampunky, and I was kind of feeling it. Wasn't feeling too completely the whole ultimate cheat, but now I don't like it, because they could have had a time-traveling baby.
Yep.
With powers.
And they missed the boat.
They did miss the boat. So do you want to talk about Jennifer?
I absolutely want to talk about Jennifer, because Jennifer was the best part of this episode. When she did the 99 Love Balloons music video in her head, I died. I was like, oh, I've missed Jennifer so much.
It made me smile so big, because up to that point, everything was just very dreary and depressing. Mm-hmm. And then Jennifer comes in, and I was like, of course Jennifer's going to save this episode.
And of course the German was like, I can't kill you. You're too ridiculous.
You're too ridiculous. And now it seems that even Jennifer is coming into a little bit of her own. She has magic time powers in a way. Because she's seeing stuff more clearly now. Mm-hmm. At least the images of what she's getting as being a primary. But I don't remember. I might have to watch the season finale again. I don't remember her shooting a time machine. Did she shoot the time machine?
In one of the versions of history, yes, I believe she did.
Really?
Yeah, and then they went back and undid it. I recall them undoing her doing that.
Oh, I was thinking of Titan. Did she shoot? Okay, then I'm confused of where and when Jennifer is then, or where she's from. Which version of Jennifer we're getting?
We're getting the version of Jennifer that was at Titan.
Okay. So how does she... I don't remember seeing her getting out. I remember Deacon getting stabbed.
He got scabbed. What happened was she got caught up in one of the beams, and she got sent all the way back to 1917.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. She got beamed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. All right.
So it's like you had to be within a certain part of Titan to make sure that you splintered successfully and safely. And she was outside of that safe zone when it splintered.
When they splintered. Mm-hmm. Okay. That makes sense. And I imagine that would cause people to get lost in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jennifer.
Yep.
What else?
So let me see.
The only other thing I have is just a couple nitpicks, and that's it.
There was I called her the midwife from hell until I learned her name. Magdalena was explaining to Cassie that the witness makes us, we didn't make him. I'm like, he was a baby. Y'all had some portion in this.
Yes.
That's how.
Well, she also said that the mother is the one who cradles and nurtures the child.
Well, that was some low key shade to Cassie. Like, just because you carrying them don't make you his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my nitpick with Hannah. And I like her character, but I'm tired of television shows and even movies where they have confident warrior women and they still lose to unskilled men.
Over some dumb shit.
That bothers me because Hannah has shown that she has strategic skills. She could have picked a rock and just chucked it at his head like a baseball.
There's that, but there's no way she would have known. There's no way she would have had herself in a position to be stabbed with that needle. Not when she knew he had it. There's no way.
No, and it annoyed me. It annoyed me so much.
It's one of those things where I was reading an article and I forget where it was. So please forgive me. Somebody out there may have read it. That was talking about the fact that you have these strong women characters, but then you don't give them anything to do or they're foiled very simply. So when you're looking at comic properties, you have your Scarlet Witch, who's supposed to be this powerful being, but she's a really poorly used plot device in terms of what her powers do. Or Black Widow, who's this awesome super spy who has been in 4 movies. But they really don't give her a lot to do in terms of true contributions to the team, in terms of the main story.
Yes.
I feel like that with Hannah.
It did feel like this with the season premiere, yes. And it just really stuck out and annoyed me. And it was like, as much as I liked the season premiere, it seemed like they were doing a little bit of easy, lazy storytelling, like with the cheat device and with the Hannah thing, just to propel the plot. Everything was plot, 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 instead of allowing for stuff to go organically. Yeah,
no, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
And maybe it has to do with, doing a time traveling show. You have a lot of balls in the air, and you have to do things very, very well and precise. Or like you said, if there's no stakes in anything, then it gets very dull.
Yeah, it's like there's no point for me to watch if there's no stakes. I mean, I love Doctor Who. I will always laud it. People are like, well, Doctor Who does it. I'm like, no. There are fixed points that he tells you himself. Something's done. I've just rewatched The Husbands of River Song twice because on our Doctor Who retrospective, we were talking about 11 and his dynamic with River and how River just has chemistry with every single doctor between David Tennant and Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi, and just how Alex Kingston brings it and brings out the best in everybody who plays off of her. But, in The Husbands of River Song, that's their time at Darillium before she goes back to the library from season 4 where she dies. And she's like, well, I expect you to find a way out of it. He was like, everyone's time must end. There's no way out of it. There are fixed points. There's a time to be born. There's a time to rest. And your time is coming to an end. So, no, I can't just jump around in time and undo it and extend. That's not how the universe works. So even with Doctor Who, you have fixed points. That's why he can never see Rory and Amy again. He can't go back to where the Weeping Angel sent them because he already broke the rules and sent the TARDIS back, which created the paradox.
Yes.
He goes back again, he could destroy the world. He could destroy the universe, the space-time continuum. You have to have rules that make sense for your time traveling, or the story doesn't work. And right now, they don't have rules that make sense.
They don't, and they seem to be every season adding more travelers, because now Hannah's jumping through time.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of jumping from where they were in the location towards Titan.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, they don't seem to have rules, and it makes me a little worried.
Because when the show first started, the only people who were jumping or able to really jump were Ramses and Cole, right?
Yeah.
And it was something in Cole, not just his immunity. They sent them back because of their immunity, but there was something else about their physiology that made it so that they weren't injured the way all the other test subjects were.
Yes. And I know Jones is able to adjust the machine and fix things, and they have that formula, but they need to explain how they're able to add more travelers. Because it makes sense for Jennifer, because she's a primary.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe to some extent, maybe Cassie has that physical attribute.
Given her role in the production of The Witness, okay, we can let that one go.
But
you can't convince me that between trying to break in to this area and get this formula to cure your daughter so you can go back in time, and all the running and fighting the scavengers and having to move the base and the damage to the machine, you had to rebuild it, that in all that time you've been able to fine tune and tweak so everybody can go through. I don't believe it. It's not plausible.
Mm-mm. And it seems now that the other side, if you will, has the ultimate cheat, the Joneses side, that anyone can time travel now.
Right, and my thing is, it makes sense for on the Witness side of things that they figure out how to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. it makes sense to me because they've got nothing but time. They're chilling in the future, eating lovely vegan meals in the lap of luxury, worshiping the Witness, saying the word. You know, they've got time.
Yeah, well, none of that, but I don't think they're even born in Titan because Ariana said that she was taken from her family. Mm-hmm. At a time from long ago. So at any point in time, these people are coming from, at any period in the world, just snatched to become part of the Witness Brigade, to worship the Witness. So there's that aspect to it as well.
Right. So I'm excited about this season. I did make it to episode 2, and I liked episode 2. Sorry. Episode 2 much better. I'm disappointed that they're getting lax with the writing, and I'm hoping they tighten it up. We'll see.
I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but what I do like is that this season is 10 episodes versus season 1 and 2, which is 13 episodes. Mm-hmm. And I think that made things better.
Good.
Because things were tighter. Good. And they're able to put more money into all the episodes, so it's not uneven. And, the story arc is better.
That's good to know.
Plus, it seems that's where television is going.
Mm-hmm.
Is shorter seasons. Kind of like what the British have been doing forever.
Yeah.
And so do you want to talk about just the weirdness of them dropping this?
I'm curious as to what that's about.
I have no idea because I've been trying to figure out because it doesn't make any sense. I know that Hulu has the exclusive streaming rights. And because basically what Syfy did was they dropped the entire season over that weekend, and then on Monday it was on Hulu, and you can watch it on the Syfy channel's website if you have a cable provider. Right. And they're not airing it again on the Syfy channel.
Well, and here's the thing. I know Syfy is in the midst of yet another rebranding.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Chris Maloney, the guy, Stabler from Law & Order, he's got a new kind of dark show that I think is based on a graphic novel that's dropping. I don't know if that's the direction they're going. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering if part of the rebranding is starting to retire shows that was under this brand.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also wondering if they're going to try to push like a paid subscription service for Syfy for people who don't have the cable provider package. Because yes, Hulu has it, but are they trying to go the route of not of CBS, because CBS model is stupid, but maybe like an HBO Now?
I wonder if that is a model, but I do know that Hulu has the exclusive streaming rights for this show, and I'm wondering if they were testing it out.
Yeah.
Because I know television, like the ratings across the board have been going down, but streaming services have exploded, even with Hulu and HBO, and even though HBO Go is silly and dumb, Netflix, I saw an article saying that by 2020 they're going to have globally 180 million subscribers.
Wow.
That's crazy. And then you still have things like minor stuff like YouTube now has this TV thing they're doing where you can get regular TV through YouTube. And plus they still have their YouTube Red or whatever that is. And then you have Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter drop, and even what is it? Tidal has their own little 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes half-hour TV shows on there. So I'm wondering if this is a way for them to try to compete by just everyone is binging. Why don't we just binge on our channel?
Right.
And it would be interesting to see what the TV numbers are. I know that this show does very great with the DVR. If that worked for them. And maybe there'll be more shows like that where it just drops over a weekend. Would kind of like miniseries used to do, where it used to be like a week on. I don't know if you remember, like miniseries used to be like that.
Yeah, like North and South. Yeah.
Yeah. North
hey,
and South.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze.
I will forever love him. Rest in peace, Patrick. We love you.
Oh, yeah.
And y'all leave Patrick's things alone. I heard about that bullshit Dirty Dancing remake TV movie, and I saw a clip from it. I'm like, who thought this was a good idea? Who?
I just saw it trending on Twitter, and I checked it for a second. I was like, oh, of course it's trash. And I was like, okay. I already knew that, but I was just like reading the jokes. Just that's what made it interesting for me, and then I checked out. But I would be curious to see, and what would that mean for the other 2 seasons? Are they both going to be 10 episodes, and are they going to drop like this?
I think they might be, and I kind of hope so.
Yeah, because I liked, just haven't seen the full season. I liked that it was 10.
Yeah,
and
we said last season that we had about 4 filler episodes, and they could have just went ahead and everything important happened inside of 5 minutes, and there was no reason that couldn't have been a part of a different episode.
Absolutely. And there are other TV shows out there that probably could benefit from just being 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really enjoyed about it. But yeah, it's very strange. I don't think this has ever been done before. The only time I've ever seen something like this done is when like a show's been canceled and they're burning it off for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you rate this, Doctor?
Well, the new rating on the site is 0 to 10.
Okay.
I'd give it a 7.5.
Okay. I would give it an 8.5 just because I have some nitpicks. I'm not liking the ultimate cheats and the laziness, but overall I feel that they trimmed the fat and there is a purpose and a mission, and it's not just to save Cassie. It is actually to go after the witness, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, well, and I did like that by the end, Future Cole smacked present Cole like, dude, get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
What difference does it make if you save this one woman if everybody else is dead? Come on now. Come on. So I did appreciate that.
Yes. Oh, the last tidbit, I think it was the other thing I think is important, was the fact that the only thing that has been erased, like they've actually erased from existence, has been their life in that house.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I don't know how important that is, but I just thought it was interesting. That was just, 8.5.
Yeah.
It could have been better. Could have gone without the ultimate cheats and the lazy storytelling, especially Woman Warrior gets foiled by wrestling match.
Yeah, and honestly, those are the things that made it drop for me. The cheat codes, their inconsistency with their own mythos around time traveling and the use of the Splinter machine. Yeah, that's the stuff that kind of dragged it down for me.
Okay.
Yep. Well, thank you.
This is great.
This is good. This one's a little shorter because we're doing an X3 and 3 episode arcs. Those might be a little longer, but we hope to have these out for you every week.
All right.
I'm saying that with a question mark because I'm trying to think of the weeks that we have between now and the time I actually move in NegroCon. I think I can pull it off. But keep listening, and thanks for listening and participating. And if you actually have feedback for us, what you thought of the season, you can send it to movietrailerreviews@mtrnetwork.net. Use the subject line 12 Monkeys Feedback, and we'll read it on the show. Until next time, say goodbye.
Bye.